Got taste.
Beautiful song.
That is Phillips, Craig, and Dean, and for the unvarnished in the audience, and that would be me. But the great mass unwashed. Here's what: while you're out living your sinning lives, there is a contemporary Christian music group called Phillips, Craig, and Dean that are not some Johnny-come-latelys, and yet they're still at the top of the charts. Everything they put out goes to #1, pretty much. I'm sure I'm right about that. They've won all kinds of awards like Dove Awards. The Phillips, Craig, and Dean, the Phillips is Randy Phillips, who's the man in the studio today with Larry Gatlin. And I'm just saying to you, you don't know what a big star this guy is, this Randy Phillips, but yet he's also a minister here in town at Promised Land West, and that church is growing out there.
It is. The Lord's been good to us, and the sound that you just heard on that song, the close harmonies, that's all Gatlin stuff. That's all Gatlin influenced, Gatlin harmonies. When the three of us guys, one's Dallas, one's St. Louis, but when we come together in the studio, it's close to brotherly harmony. You can't imitate that Gatlin sound, but we try hard.
Well, you've gotten real close.
That's very kind. They are great.
Who's the lead vocalist in there?
Dan Dean.
So he's the dean of Phillips, Craig, and Dean.
He is.
There's a lot of stuff you lead vocal on, and we like to play that on our Sunday morning gospel program.
Thank you.
And of course, the one that
they won't put your lead songs on prime time.
No, sorry, can't do
Sunday
that.
morning, everybody's in church.
That's fine.
Hey, how was
That was my 2 minutes.
did you stream good?
Knocked the porcelain on the back. Son, you could have hung laundry on that street.
I was talking about our internet stream. Could you hear the internet stream down the hall? That's what I was asking. Larry Gatlin, let's get this conversation back to Larry Gatlin if we can.
Yeah, about time. Well, there's some dead air time there for about 5 minutes.
Since we last visited on the radio, you have become Mr. Fox Business and Fox Television News.
That's right.
And I was proud to see that, Frank. Not only because you're a friend,
Well,
but you're doing a good job.
I don't know that I've been covered. You know, they've been nice to me. There's a guy up there named Bill Shine. You know, Roger Ailes, my old friend from the Reagan administration, the Bush
Did you
administration.
hear that name drop?
Did you?
Let me pick that back up. Roger Ailes, my old friend.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what. There's about to be a good West Texas ass whooping.
You're going to put that number 12 right up my
Open a shoe store right in the Anyway,
My good friend Roger. You're not a phrase you hear every day on KOKE FM. My good friend, or in Austin.
if everybody will give me just a chance. I told my son Josh I was disappointed because the Pilgrimage album didn't really do more because it started off slow and tapered off. So he said, "Daddy, don't say that." He said that album, that new CD, he said that helped me get you on Huckabee.
Is that the one that has Johnny Cash's?
Yes.
Is that all on that CD?
Folks, I'll write this stuff down and text it to you because they ain't gonna let me tell you the story.
Well,
So
hurry.
Anyway,
I must
Get to
have sped up the story.
Anyway, he said, don't say that it didn't do. You know, they took that album and they thought, Fox thought that a new Gatlin Brothers album, the first one in 18 years, there was something merit to that. So it got us on Governor Huckabee. We met him, became good friends. Then they put us on Fox and Friends. And then the other, you know, they figured out that I wasn't just a booger-eating moron, that I could, you know, at least read, write, and trace if necessary. and they realized that I knew what I was talking about. I'm a political science minor. I am a policy wonk. I love to be involved in politics. I see our country going to hell in a yellow bucket, and what Sir Edmund Burke said so many years ago, the only thing necessary for tyranny to exist is for good men to do nothing. I will not do nothing. So my way of doing something is to get on those shows, and they've let me on there.
How did they audition you?
They didn't audition me.
They didn't make you sit on a snow cone and tell you what to play?
No, but I could have. I could have.
Raspberry.
Anyone.
So they just said, you were, I think, first time I saw you, I think it was on Hannity.
I got on Handy one night and he said, "You're a country music singer. What do you know about Fannie and Freddie and this economic meltdown?" I said, "Let me tell you about politics." I said, "Politicians want it both ways." I said, "They want to come in, ride in on a white horse and fix what they messed up." I said, "I'm not going to let them have it both ways." I said, "My friend George W. Bush went to..."
My friend?
If you will listen to me. My friend George W. Bush and Don Evans went to Chris Dodd and Barney Frank and said, "Fannie and Freddie's going to collapse. We need help." They said no. They didn't help him. They said, it's all right, it's good. Then when it collapsed, they named the bill, the Dodd-Frank bill, to fix the deal. I said, they want to have it both ways. I am not going to let it have it both ways. I said, it ain't like that old boy who was a veterinarian and a taxidermist, that either way you get your dog back. They knew by that I could hack the track, as we say in West Texas, that I could hack what they threw at me.
So that inauspicious beginning became, we got to book this guy again.
And they did.
He's a riot.
Right, and I've talked about him. My dream, I don't know whether it's God's plan for me. His plan for me, his picture of me is a whole lot better than mine is. And by the way, it's a whole lot better than any of y'all's are, because I'm getting no respect. But,
by the way, is that head of these?
you know what? I went back and looked at that picture. I went back and looked at that picture. I swear I thought it was a hurricane.
All right, I'll say this in your defense. You didn't comb your hair this morning coming in, clearly.
And it's obviously
Larry,
real hair.
I can finally lay this one to rest, because this became a big deal. Larry Gatlin does not wear a toupee.
No.
But
nobody on God's earth could make a rug look as bad as my hair.
I'm looking. I can clearly see.
You can pull on it.
No, I don't need to.
I went back
see.
and looked at that picture y'all were talking about, and it
It
looked
does
like
look like
somebody
that.
put a dark dish rag on top.
No, it looked like somebody had stapled a squirrel to you. And so we put it up.
The tail was the dead giveaway.
And we were,
And the eyes.
you know, we'd run out of things to talk about anyway at the old station. So
Kinda like now.
So we put his picture up on our webpage and said, would you all go look at this and vote? Is this Hannaby's or not? Does and bless Larry's heart. First, he didn't take it too well.
No, he did.
Because he started getting calls saying, they say you have herpes. You know, and he said, Gatlin has Hannaby's.
Well, you could have flown that sucker to Beijing. But, no, it really did look funky. But, no, it's the real stuff.
Your hair looks good now.
I've had a few of them added in there. That wasn't fun, sticking needles in the top.
Do they really do that?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Well, I did about 10, 15 years ago. I need to have it done again.
So you can actually grow hair, or once they add it in there, it's at your hair. I don't know how that works.
Well, a Bosley guy, I don't want to do
Oh, it's Bosley?
well,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. It wasn't that
Hair
much.
club for men.
Yeah, no, hair club for men just takes the hair you get out of the bathtub. They paste it back on there. He'll love that. Lawsuit. What was I talking about? Fox. So
Yeah, Fox.
my desire, I would love to maybe not have my own show. That's
Should you not be doing a talk show of some kind?
well, I'm the guy up there, the old boy. His name is Mike Elton. Good guy. He's from Guthrie, Oklahoma. He's in charge of their Fox Radio, their talk radio. So he does John Gibson and all those guys. And I filled in for Spencer Hughes one day. I'd love to do it a couple hours, 3 hours a day. I'd love to live in New York and be, you know, for 3 or 4 days a week. Come home to Austin some, come home to Nashville. I tell people, Austin's my home, Nashville's my home, away from home. I'm a Texan. Go up there, and I'd like to be their, you know, their pinch hitter. Go in there on those different shows, make a little money there, and then go out on the weekends and sing with brothers and do that. I think that would help our career. I'd love to do it. Maybe it would bring a little humor to the very rancorous discourse.
Why do they call
Look
you?
it up, Aggies.
Why do they call you so much to be on the Fox Business Network? What's that about? Because I get calls all the time. Larry's on. I'm like,
Let me tell you what I know. These two old boys down in Georgia, they live in Atlanta. They bought them a truck. They decided to go into the watermelon business. They went down to South Georgia, bought a bunch of watermelons for 50 cents a piece. They came back up to Atlanta and sold them for 50 cents a piece. One of those old boys looked at each other and said, hell, we're going to have to buy a bigger truck.
That's why you're on Fox Business.
That's it. There it is.
That's
There
the
it is.
answer right there.
Well, I know you can't borrow your way out of debt. You know, and I know that Keynesian economics, it's never worked anywhere in the world. And Dr. Art Laffer's curve, the Laffer curve, that the lower tax rates are, the higher tax revenues, it works every single time.
Yeah, Laffer was President Reagan's main
He was.
economic advisor.
Dear friend of mine, in his new book,
You know it?
yeah, in his new book, he said, as Larry Gatlin said, it ain't rocket surgery. He called me from London one
But
night.
it is brain science.
Well, whatever. He called me from London. He said, Larry, he said, you're not going to believe it. He said, I just did an economic conference, and I told him, and it said Margaret Thatcher was there. And said, when I told him, like my old friend country music singer Larry Gatlin said, it ain't rocket surgery, he said she did a belly laugh. Now, of course, for her, that's a belly laugh.
You made Margaret Thatcher laugh.
Yes, you know, don't go wobbly on this.
That would be great.
Let's talk more about November 11th.
November 11th. Yeah, and look, this is a ways away, but here's the deal. It's going to sell out any day. So if you have great interest, and I know we do over at the Cole House, in seeing Larry Gatlin and the brothers, and Mike Huckabee, and Randy Phillips, and who else you have on there?
Former POW Jessica Lynch.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
story,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it's great. And then there will be other wonderful people there. The governor, I hope, will be there.
Manny Others is going to come.
Manny Others,
Well,
VW.
Many others.
It's going to be a great
And
night.
his sister, many more.
It's going to be a great night. I hope everybody will turn out.
Now, where are you going to do it?
Riverbend Center. Riverbend Church. I don't know why they call it Center.
Well,
Church.
Yeah.
Not SINNER.
Maybe
Riverbend
that
Center.
too.
I used to go to Riverbend
I
before
know.
you started. I was at Riverbend Center.
I appreciate you
Riverbend
coming
Center.
over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very nice facility.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Okay, great. November 11th is a Sunday this year. That is Veterans Day.
Yes.
And it will be held to honor those that have served as well.
Yeah.
And let's put in a nice plug for our old friend Gerald Mann.
How's he doing?
I haven't seen Dr. Mann in a while. Saw him at a Longhorn football game a year or so ago. His health was not great, but he had great vision. God bless that over there.
Make
So,
all that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
and a word about my friend here, Randy Phillips. I don't get serious very much, but he's a wonderful man of God. You know, he has what we call in the old book, what my granny called the anointing. He breaks the word of God. He doesn't preach out of the funny paper, the Wall Street Journal. He preaches out of that black book. He preaches a lot the red part. I like the red part a lot.
You want to hear one of the only smart,
I guess
few
I was
smart
through.
things?
I guess I was through.
Well, it sounded like you took a breath. I've never heard you take a breath before.
It tailed off.
Well, all right,
Hey.
your turn, Bob.
Here's the secret. I got to know him before he's popular, and I got a commitment that he'd do my funeral. See, like if I went to him now, he's too big now.
No, I've got it. I've got
But
your message right now.
he's been working on it already.
I'll chip in on it if it'd be pretty soon.
Are there any contributors?
Hey, how do I segue to this? It is a time to, Larry, this is such a different venture, and folks are stepping up to help us out. And we're not only asking just the folks that are going to support KOKE FM by listening, also hear our partners, formerly known as advertisers, and say, all right, if they're doing it, we'll do it. And that's where I'm headed. There's no new thing for us to be talking about Niall Maxwell in Taylor. Niall Maxwell started with a little dealership out in Taylor, and he said, I'm gonna specialize in selling trucks. And pretty soon, as the story goes, a dealership way out, way out there in the cornfield, became the biggest seller of Dodge trucks all the way in the Austin area and in Texas, and they did it by having the lower price. So it's 20 some odd years later, that's still the case. Now, he's got a bunch of dealerships now, all because of that little place in Taylor. But that's where we still send you to see guys like Mike Swartz and Rusty Hatcher, and pray for Rusty. Rusty going through old buddy Rusty, he's going through something, preacher. He got cancer, and he's gonna be all right if good Lord's willing. But he ain't back to work yet, exactly. But
God bless Rusty.
yeah, he's a good man, great man, and they all are. If you want to do business, those kind of folks. Make it a little more commercial here. They also have a red tag sale going on, which is how I prefer to buy. You look at the truck you like. There's none of that list price baloney and jargon. Here's the real price right here to drive it out the door. Is actually on most of those units that they're trying to move on right now. So good time to go to Maxwell in Taylor, which is 15 minutes east of Round Rock on Highway 79. If that's not in your schedule today, then just look it up online. But to get to that dealership, you go to NileMaxwellTaylor.com. But one last instruction, how would y'all spell Nile?
NYL.
Oh, you know.
Sure.
Okay. Larry looks stumped.
I just spelled it KNY.
So when you go online, it's Nile Maxwell Taylor, NYLE, MaxwellTaylor.com.
And then when you go online, look up GatlinBrothers.com. You can buy some of them CDs.
Yeah, there you go. Is that GHAT?
KJ.
Gatlin Brothers. Oh,
I want to know what Aggie built this building with 3 floors and only 2 flights of stairs.
2 flights of stairs, 3 floors, and an elevator that
That's
doesn't
out of order.
Hey, you know what? We're lucky the air conditioning's working today. And I'm not making that up. It is all chewing
Well,
gum and baling wire
I
right
was
now.
hoping that we could tape some of this, and I could cut out my part in there as an audition for my talk show at Fox. But they ain't got no tape recorder.
We don't have anything. But we'll get it. We'll get it with time.
I mean, the squirrel in there running in that cage, keep these lights on, he's getting tired.
Troy Kimmel is with us. Eric Raines, Pastor Randy Phillips, and Larry Gatlin. Hang on.
My Lord, he forgot my name.
I was trying to think of something funny.